Hey everyone, welcome to the Happy Farm D podcast. This is Alex Barker, the founder, and we're talking about business in this session. We normally do talk about careers and transitions, but with me, as usual, I have my friend Alex Evans, and he and I love talking about business. And we kind of just wanted to talk through today what naturally came up was disappointments when we were super expecting the best of things. If you're going the route of business, or maybe you're in business now, you may think that, your journey is going to be filled with roses and victories along the entire way. But a lot of disappointing stuff happens. And I think it'd be an interesting conversation to talk about just some of the hardships that have come our way in our business, as well as just how we've handled them and what we've learned from those things. So what propagated this discussion was Alex bringing up the fact that he's got some interesting new business deals that are coming through, but hesitantly moving forward on them because, they may turn out great. They may not turn out at all. But Alex, I think it'd be interesting just to kind of talk through some of the things and hurdles we've had to go through to get to where we are. And when it comes to disappointments, when I first started this journey, and maybe you can relate, I thought everything's going to go well. Everyone's going to want to buy my stuff. And the first thing I ever sold was some stickers on Etsy. I sold little Star Wars or Star Trek stickers, and you were supposed to put them on your computer. And I remember selling out like 20. And then I remember thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. When I first came up with the idea, I was like, this is awesome. I'm going to sell so many. I'm going to be a sticker king.
Yeah, until the copyright lawyers come knocking on your door.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily they were just sayings from Star Trek. They weren't. I don't think they've patented.
Oh, okay. It wasn't
final.
The ship or
No.
Yeah.
No, it was a sticker that said "The Final Frontier," and you were supposed to put it on your space bar.
Oh, I see.
Space, the final frontier. Get it? Yeah, not that clever, but I sold out, and I made like $20 maybe. Not a lot at all.
Yeah.
But I remember being really disappointed in that moment because I was like, man, what did I just do? Did I just waste all this time? But it introduced me to the concept of learning is good because you learn what you don't like, and when you learn what you're great at, and ideally you're getting closer to your zone of genius that you want to move more and more to. Do you have like a beginner's disappointment journey story?
Well, I think I've talked about the soap company before. So
Yes.
yeah.
I
And
always enjoy learning about Alex's soap.
yeah. So I was living in Hawaii at the time on the island of Maui. And so, of course, I had to market it as, Hawaiian branded soap. And if you've ever been to Hawaii, on every single island, I've been to every single one you can easily go to, and all of the gift shops are slam full of homemade Hawaiian whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It's a mixture of junk from mass manufactured junk and then homemade stuff made with aloha. So I wanted to capitalize on that market. And I remember at the airport on the island of Kauai, before I took a flight back to the big island where I was living at the time, when I was on the big island of Maui, seeing a $12 bar of soap in the airport. And I thought, I took 5 semesters of compounding in pharmacy school. I'm pretty sure I can come up with this stuff.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I did. And was thinking, this is going to be so great. I'm going to make this junk for like $2 a bar, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to make like hundreds of batches at a time. I'm going to put them in all the gift shops, and people are going to pay $8 or $10 for each bar of soap. I even did the artwork. I should share the artwork. You know what I'll do?
You should.
If I can find a picture of it, I'm going to send it to you so you can include it in the recording of the podcast so everybody can see it. It was going to be the luau lather. So that was that was a big idea.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. So I started mixing up batches and quickly realized the ingredients are actually expensive. You aren't getting out much cheaper with non-extra virgin olive oil than you are with extra virgin. Either way, you're in like $10 at Walmart. It's not a lot cheaper at the soap supply stores. Those essential oils are incredibly expensive. And then the margins started looking thinner and thinner and thinner. So I made like a couple batches. I think I got some Christmas presents out of them. Everybody got some luau lather for Christmas. Yeah, thankfully it didn't take their skin off. I had enough I had enough oil in there to neutralize all the lye in the soap, so it didn't take their skin off,
Yeah.
thankfully. But I wasn't going to make any money off of it either. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And that's what you learn through practice. It's so funny how we confirmation bias, we convince ourselves so easily, oh, this is a for sure win. I just need to do this. I just need to sell this, try this, and I'm gonna make tons of money.
And it's funny, you
Um,
see it in major corporations too. It's the same thing, and it's
yes.
worse because it's confirmation bias
Hmm.
combined with groupthink,
Yes.
combined with politics. So the VP of blah 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 says that this is going to be amazing, and everybody on the front lines is saying this ain't going to work. Nobody's going to buy this. And they go through an expensive journey and have all these meetings which cost
Yep.
money,
Yep.
and ultimately it doesn't work when somebody could have told you before you started.
I remember thinking the same thing, although I was in a nonprofit organization. I remember thinking like this company just wasted 10 grand on this hour-long meeting that accomplished nothing.
Oh, that happens everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And I know I've commented on this before, but even in my local area, I am shocked by the level of just negligence, inappropriate behavior, bad culture in companies, and they are still making millions. So hopefully that encourages you to start your bad idea.
And if
But
that doesn't, I do have another short story to encourage you to start your idea. When I was
go
at
for it.
the convenience store right across the street picking up a drink a while back, pre-COVID, this couple of guys came in who owned a landscaping business, who what grassyAss.com or whatever business that was painted on their trailer. And they went to pick up a 12 pack of beer to get them started for their workday, including the driver. And he said, he asked the guy, "Can you give me a receipt? Because I'm going to write this off on my taxes." And he started laughing. And I was thinking, that guy owns a business. And
Oh,
he's making
yeah.
money, doing it. And I started thinking, yeah, at some point I'll figure something out.
But disappointments continue to happen.
They do.
One of the things that we do try to let everyone know from our company is that we know how to do career transition. That's what we're specialized in. We have the utmost confidence that we know how to do that. But when it comes to running a business and growing something like what we have, it's full of unknowns and doubts because I've never gotten a business to this point before. And so it's always, there's always more questions about how do we go from here to where we want to go. And that leads doubt and that creates new opportunities to fail. So during this COVID crisis, during the beginning phase, I knew that I needed to get out of doing initial calls with people. In the beginning, that it was just me, out of my garage basically. And I track my time, and I was spending 60% of my time in meetings. And the vast majority of those were initial calls with people. So I hired someone and I thought, this person's going to be great. She's fantastic. She's nice. She's in the pharmacy industry. She has sales experience. All the stars were aligned. And I'm like, everyone, this is our savior. She's going to help us. Oh, I'm so thankful because, my time is going to be saved. And I was on cloud nine and I gave her the offer letter Friday. She accepted it, was ready to rock. You already know the stories where this is going. Monday morning, I get an email, 9:00. The week we're going to start training. Alex, I'm so sorry. I can't take this position. Some family issues have come up, and legitimately so. They were real family issues that anyone, I suppose, could say that that's the reason why they don't take a job. But sure enough, she didn't take it. My
Yeah.
world crumbled. I was so disappointed. I was like, oh my gosh, I interviewed you like 4 times. We talked about this in great detail. She was on initial calls with me. I wasted so much time.
Oh,
The wind was really knocked out of my sails because I'm back doing calls. I'm figuring out the process. I'm trying to change things. and I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But because of that one thing, it pushed me to try to find someone else and to think, I got to find someone who can do this job and commit to it. The thing that I learned from this is hire for disposition, not just hire for skills that they may already have. What I simply mean by that is I just need someone who can talk, who's got great people skills. I don't care if they have pharmacy experience or not. I just need someone who's friendly, nice, and can speak intelligently about what we do. And that led me to hire the person who's now our growth advisor, Eric Wilson. He's now a part of our team, and he is actually working for us part-time now, which is fantastic. It's awesome. And it's been a huge learning curve getting him on our team. But sometimes your disappointments, it's good that they happen. In the moment, they're so painful, but if you keep pushing, keep striving, keep going in a direction, you may find that on the other side, it's exactly where you wanted to be. And that's what I needed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think those the disappointments could just come with the territory, almost like looking for another job. If you're in that business of looking for another job and you interview for what you think is the perfect job,
right,
and then you don't get it and you're crushed, but in the end you realize that's, ultimately you're in the best place that you could be in.
Right. Yeah, because the worst case scenario is not that. The worst case scenario is you can't work or something happens to your physical health. Not that you don't get the job. One of the things that we were talking about before we hit the record button was about how we so easily put our hope in future deals that we want to happen so badly. And I was sharing, I haven't really enjoyed B2B type interactions. We're setting up our companies so that we become equity stake partners with companies that we help grow. And that's really exciting for us because we're creating pharmacy companies that hire other pharmacists. But for everything else outside of that, like sponsorships for the podcast or other things like that, I have been so disappointed. Money has been presented to me on the table, tens of thousands of dollars, and I go, yeah, sure, yeah, let's figure out how to make this work. And they just whiff away so easily that it's kind of made me, I don't want to say jaded, because I'm always open to new opportunities. But with your opportunity that you have before you, how are you trying to protect yourself, both your time and your energy, while at the same time making yourself available to this opportunity and ideally trying to secure it?
Yeah, I think with this opportunity, which is to essentially introduce a new technology to the healthcare market. And with this arrangement, I would be basically in a contract as a finder to help find a business partner to introduce that technology. And it's hard because
Are you going to get paid up front though? You're just paid for the finder's fee?
Paid for the end deal.
Oof.
Now, granted, there are 14 issued patents on the technology. They are issued; they're not pending or anything like that. And I do think it is a true improvement over existing technologies.
But that deal, as presented, means you're potentially working for nothing.
Yeah, it's basically like owning a business. Like when you own the business, you could work for nothing too.
True. That is true.
So, and when I talked to the owners of this business, I told them I wasn't necessarily interested in hourly rate as much as I was in some kind of stakeholder type relationship. So yeah, then they have the issued patents, but certainly not the funds to pay somebody up front to go after it. But I think
even a nominal fee?
Not much. No, I don't think, to go after. Now they might have some a little money to pay for it here and there, but yeah, ultimately the larger amount would be if there was a deal made with a business. And with that, yeah, we've heard a lot, but people, it's almost like for anybody who's done medical writing, if you work as a freelancer, as a medical writer, you can work with somebody, you can work with journal or a website or something for a while. Everything's going really well. You write maybe they need 2 or 3 back to back, and then you don't hear from them for like 3 months. You contact
Mm.
them again. A week later, you contact them again. Then finally they reappear. And I think this experience has been even similar to that. Like there's been a lot of talk, but then the individual would just disappear.
Mm. Yeah, there's always risk with business, right? Because
There is, yeah.
it could not work out. And I've had to lean into that when working with people. Um, Even now, we're having to hire some new people in new roles that we've never had before, and it is scary. Much of my business lessons and places for growth are often related to like parenting, because we've been hiring new coaches on our team and we're continuing to hire new people, and every time I hire a new person, it almost feels like a piece of my heart is leaving and it's being swung around like a tether ball. Kind of like my children, right? Both of my daughters are the love of my life. I love them dearly, but they have an easy way of making me, whenever I mess up, making me feel like, not a great dad. Now, I love my kids, but children are, they have a way of, really reflecting who you are. And in the same way, when I'm hiring people and they're coming onto my team, I don't want to say that like they're my family now, but my reputation is on the line, right? Our company's reputation is on the line. And if they mess up, it reflects on us. And I can't control that. It's that tetherball being swung around that I have absolutely just no control over. But in that fear is great room for growth. And it's scary, but
Yeah.
and there have been disappointments along the way. I have worked with people as a part of our team who have totally let me down. And it's not like it was, I can say without a doubt, it was all their fault. No, totally not. As a founder, you have to take responsibility for what is within your control. But you, it would be a fun discussion, albeit maybe not safe to do so, to talk about like all the different people that, we've worked with that have taken advantage of us. And that unfortunately happens too in business. But I think the best thing, and it's probably what you're doing now with this new deal for you, is moving forward trepidly, asking questions and just doing the best you can to protect yourself by asking more and more questions. Is that what you're
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, and I think with that too, I mean, we have assigned a written agreement as far as the actual business aspect. But with that too, I think what I decided was I feel that this technology really truly is a breakthrough. And for anybody wanting to look it up, it's called thermoprox, but it is a new temperature excursion indicator. So the little things that go in the cooler when you mail vaccines and cold chain items. And
Mm-hmm.
this one is a liquid that could be filled in the exact same package as the medication. So you could fill 10 milliliters of the liquid or 5 milliliters or 2.5. So it basically matches the thermal mass of the medication you're protecting. So it's more accurate than other existing technologies. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy to get a deal though with it. So I just limit my time with it. So I just say, well, I would spend a couple hours, 1 or 2 hours a week on it. I'm not going to spend 20 hours a week on it. I'm not going to spend 10
Yeah.
hours a week on it. Like I don't know that I can put that kind of effort into it until we get closer and closer to a deal, to the point where, it looks like it's worth that risk. But
Yeah.
it's, when you're kind of sending out emails, I have initial conversations with people, with individuals at companies that might be interested in the product. Certainly I'll put a little time into that, but maybe limiting the time is one way of, it's really limiting the risk, because I don't have money in it, and that's kind of your two
Absolutely.
risks. Yeah, is time or money.
Absolutely. The way I think about, any business is that it can be broken up into simple systems that should be repeatable over and over again. And when it comes to new opportunities or leads, however you want to think about it, I love dedicating Fridays to doing that. That's usually what I do every Friday when I'm not scheduling impromptu meetings. I'm often dreaming about what could be, or coming up with new ideas for what's next for the company. And I think that's a great probably action step for anyone who's out there thinking, okay, how much time do I dedicate to new leads, new proposals? But rather just scheduling the time. A lot of lessons here, I think, to be had as we talked about just some of these disappointments and our hopes being raised up. Any final thoughts you'd want to share, Alex?
Yeah, I think kind of similar. We mentioned in a previous podcast, even if you're looking for a career transition, that's a level of risk. And so the time and the money are the two risks that you could have in that. So how much time are you willing to put in? How much time is that risk, that potential benefit worth it to you? So is it, if you can dedicate even an hour or 2 hours a week, even to a career transition,
Yeah.
of course, you have no idea if it's going to happen. It's hypothetically, you could end up stuck at the same job, but it probably won't happen if you do that consistently. So yeah, limiting the risk, but taking the risk is the balance.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Happy PharmD podcast. As always, check us out on the website or connect with us on LinkedIn. Happy to talk with you about business if that's the route that you're going. I have a lot of fun having these conversations, and I just want to say thanks for listening.